what happened? I said, nothing. like, like all of a sudden, I'm like, how the fuck did it get 31-23?
Yeah, I was
be taking a shower. I'm like,
I was at the gym, and I was watching it on the little screen. They had the games up there. I was kind of keeping an eye on it. I didn't even realize it was 31-7. I had no idea that was I saw the score when it was. I think I got to the gym when it was like 31-15. I was like, okay, this is probably over. It was like had like 8 minutes left, and then I saw the touchdown by Notre Dame. Was it a touchdown? Yeah, I saw the touchdown, the deep pass, or whatever. I saw that. I was like, oh, it might be a game. And then I saw the stop they had against. I was like, against Notre Dame, against Ohio State. Notre Dame had against Ohio State. I was like, oh wow, this might be real. But then I saw Jeremiah Smith just blow the whole shit up. And I was like, okay, now I can go back to lifting because this game's over. But we'll get into that. We'll get into some college football. We'll get into the 12-team playoff. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are staying warm on the East Coast. It's chilly over here as well. But welcome to the two-man front with your boy Be Easy, my man The Fog. And we got a good packed show for you guys today, a fun packed show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about, obviously, you just heard some college football. We're going to be talking about some big hires, some big coaching hires, what it means for those teams, the divisional games, that's still happening. That conversation is still going. So Fog and I are going to dissect that, pick some winners and losers from those divisional round games. And then also we're going to talk some college football, like we just talked about. We're going to talk some college football. Did the 12-team playoff work? Right? We're going to give it a grade. And what would you fix, or what would we fix about the 12-team playoff for next year and future? And then we got some over-unders. Got some over-unders for our AFC and NFC title games. And, of course, we're going to pick our games. AFC title game pick. Of course, the NFC title game pick. Who will be playing in Super Bowl, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I've been sure it was 52, 53. What is it? 53?
50-something. I don't know.
I honestly don't even count anymore. I don't know. I have no clue. Until it gets to like a round number, like 55 or 60. I don't know. But again, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Go ahead and click on that QR code up top and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're waiting for y'all to do that. And of course, leave your comments below. We love your comments. We love the banter with you guys back and forth. Makes the show a lot more fun for us. And I'm sure it makes it fun for you guys as well. All right, Fog, let's just jump right into it. We had some new coaching hires over the week. We had Ben Johnson, of course, going to the Chicago Bears, that a lot of people were clamoring for him, including some Bears fans. And then, of course, the other offensive coordinator, the other coordinator for the Lions, Aaron Glenn, just a few hours ago was named the new head coach for the New York Football Jets. Fog, what do these new coaching hires mean for all three of these teams, the Lions, the Jets, and the Bears?
The Jets will be firing Aaron Glenn in 2 years. And saying he didn't work.
Oh, man. That's just almost feels inevitable.
I am. But if it didn't Aaron Glenn play cornerback for the Jets?
I think he did.
Was it that one of the teams that he played for when he was playing?
I think he did. I remember seeing like some type of picture. It was old school Jets with like Chad Pennington and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's no surprise there's a relationship there, but again, you went from one defensive head coach to another defensive head coach, which is something that teams normally don't do. So I like that. I think it speaks volumes to the culture Dan Campbell created over there, because people think that, hey, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are two guys that can be leaders of the football team. So I think that's big, but I think Aaron Glenn walked into a shitstorm. Whereas Ben Johnson, I think you have a quarterback in place. You have personnel in place at the skill level positions to help that quarterback. You just need to solidify your trenches more, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So I think Ben Johnson has a better opportunity for success than Aaron Glenn does.
Yeah.
But I like both hires. I like the coaches that got hired. I just think Aaron Glenn is going to wind up getting the short end of the stick because of the organization he went to.
What do you think happens to the Lions? Where do they go from here? Because I feel like that's more a story that's not being talked about enough for me because they just lost two of their pillars on their team. I know Dan Campbell is the pillar, but he lost some coordinators, man. So what happened? What do you think happens to the Lions?
The Lions wind up in football purgatory the same way the Philadelphia Eagles were last year when they lost what is it, Joe Cannon and what's his name?
Steichen or something for the Colts. I forget his
Shane,
name,
yeah, Shane Steichen.
Shane Steichen,
So Dan Campbell's going to find himself in that same predicament, and it's going to. I mean, who they promote, because I got a feeling that they're just going to stay from within and promote from within, if possible. But I think that I think that's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting situation to see what happens in Detroit because, quite frankly, losing those two coordinators the way you did, I don't care who you bring in going into next year. I don't see them having the same success as they did these last two seasons.
Yeah, I think it's kind of inevitable that they're gonna take. And Drew said it was Super Bowl 58. What the hell? Really?
I think it's 59. I think it's 59.
I feel like we just watched Super Bowl 49 like 2 years ago, but whatever. Anyways, like so I'm gonna start with the Lions. I think the Lions are gonna obviously take a step back, depending on who they get. I mean, they may not, right? I mean, they may not miss a beat because someone made a great point on TV. I think I was watching PTI and 20 Kornheiser said that they didn't lose any players, they lost coaches. And look, he was referring to the Patriots, and look, that's a different animal. But I understand what he was saying. When you're losing players, it's different than losing coaches. You can replace coaches. We'll see what Dan Campbell can, I guess, for lack of a better term, groom coordinator wise, who he hires, if he can possibly keep this ball rolling. We'll see. We'll see. I'm interested, but I think losing two of your coordinators and really good guys too, seem like really good dudes on the surface. It's just gonna change. I feel like it's gonna change your locker room a little bit, especially those meeting rooms. So I think the Lions, we may see they may hit a little bumpy streak here. I think so. The Bears, with Ben Johnson, look, I made a post, man. I said, look, I think it's the right hire for the right guy for Caleb Williams. Yes, they needed an offensive coach because Eberflus and the other guy, Sean Waldron, were just god awful. So I think it's low. The ground is low. Okay, they're in hell right now, right? And the bar may be in hell for that Bears offense. So Ben Johnson doesn't need to do much to actually show that he can coach, at least offense, right? But I'm always worried about these things, Fog. Like, I don't know if these young hotshot dudes can be coaches. I don't know. It works sometimes, but I feel like it fails more often than we think. In terms of these guys getting hired for the quarterback, and then they just, are there, then they can't really coach the whole team. It's a different animal, man. It's a different. Ask Cliff Kingsbury about that, right? Ask Cliff Kingsbury about head coaching being a different animal than just coaching your quarterback who you brought in for, right? I mean, it's hard, right? And there's some examples. I mean, Sean McVay is an example, but I don't think he was brought in for Jared Goff. I think Sean McVay was actually brought in to coach, right? So, like, I mean, I think it's tough. Frank Wright is another bad example, right? Frank Wright was brought in to coach quarterbacks, when he went to the Colts, I believe. So, I mean, I'm just not a fan of it, but I think Ben Johnson should be okay. I think, I think he should be okay.
It's interesting because a lot of these guys, and you want to look at their history and where they came from, because if you're looking right now, I think coaching is, I don't want to say easier than it was before, but I think getting a head coaching job because of the win now mentality and the quick turnover, you had to work harder. Like there's a reason why guys like Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin
Yeah,
and
I
Pete
see what you mean.
Carroll are around and sustaining that success because they had to, they were in the game for about 10 years before they even got their opportunity to be head coaches.
Yeah.
Like they grinded. If you remember Andy Reid, Andy Reid was the quarterback coach. It wasn't even a offensive coordinator. He was the quarterback coach for the
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers when Brett Favre got there under Mike Holmgren.
Yeah.
And he just progressed until he got his opportunity to be the head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. Almost a decade later?
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah, I get. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I just think there's been a lot of bad hires. I'm not a big fan of this single reason you're hired to coach the quarterback, but you can't coach the rest of the team. I'm just not a big fan of it. I'm not a big fan. As far as Aaron Glenn goes, just to touch on that real quick, part of me when I first saw it, I was like, oh, here comes another guy. Like you said, you think he's gonna be fired in 2 years, which is definitely possible. But you know what? And I agree, going from a defensive coach like from Robert Saleh, going from another defensive-minded coach like Aaron Glenn, which you felt like they're going to go offense. I agree with you, Fogg. They should have went offensive mind, but I kind of have a good feeling about Aaron Glenn. I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling about him. I think they're going to give him a shot. Obviously, they need a quarterback, and we'll see. We'll see if they can and get one. Obviously, we'll see what happens to Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is done. I think he's cooked. I think he's gonna be out. And then I think he's gonna be I think Glenn may be okay. I do. We got a guest, long friend of the show. Game winning drive. Drew Tremor. What's up, man?
What's up, boys? It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Been a long time, man. It's been a long time. Good to see you. We're just talking about some new coaching hires that have happened. What's your take? What's your take on these new coaching hires, and what does it mean for the Lions, Jets, and Bears?
I want to know what Fogg had to say. I didn't catch what he had to say. I listen, dude. I'm so happy for Aaron Glenn. It makes sense to go back to where you played, but as I was talking to, I think it was AJ earlier today. My issue is management. It's just complete. It's completely effed in New York. They don't even know. They don't even have a. I don't think they have a GM. Like the GM doesn't know he's the GM. The owner doesn't even want to be the owner.
Yep.
No stability or future at quarterback because I think all three of us would agree that Aaron Rodgers is done. Me and Falk completely missed the train on that last 2 years. But I think it's the best spot out of all the spots that he could go to. He can make a name for himself as a head coach, and I think he's going to bring a lot of well-known talent to a defense that needs it. There's talent there. It's just a quarterback thing, man. It's the only thing that I'm scared for him because it's the Jets. In 2 years, they're going to say, "Oh, you know what? It didn't work out. Let's just move on to the next black guy." And that's what annoys me. No, seriously, that's what annoys me. The only black coach to ever be set up in this league is Mike Tomlin. That's it. No one's ever been set up to win. Yeah, from a black perspective head coach to go to a team that's ready to win. So I mean, you can make the cases to DeMarco Ryans, but I think Cesario really set him up. I mean, they both did it together. They made great picks with the Will Anderson trade and CJ Stroud, and it's obviously it's productive. But yeah, Aaron Glenn's the one I'm happy about the most. I'm still 50-50 on Ben Johnson going to Chicago. I think there's a lot of things that need to be fixed in Chicago. Who knows who's going to Las Vegas? I think my money's on Mike McCarthy or Joe Brady. But I heard Joe Brady had a second interview today with New Orleans. So he might be heading to New Orleans, which I don't know why. There's no stability there either. And then Jacksonville is just
I got a question. The Jets haven't hired a GM, have they yet?
I don't think so.
Not yet.
So
No.
They interviewed someone
here
today,
we go.
Fog.
Here we go. What the beginning of dysfunction? You hired the head coach, and you don't have a GM in place. Now you're basically interviewing a GM who's supposed to be comfortable with Aaron Glenn being the head coach, as opposed to vice versa, getting the GM first and then getting it. Wow, it's amazing. I'm going to say this: the Raiders actually fucking did something right.
Which I was about to say, dude. I was just about to say that.
I think the Raider job. Paul, we talked about this last week. I think that job is enticing because of who's running the show, and it's Tom Brady. It's not Mark. It's not Mark. What's his name? Not Mark.
Mark Davis.
Mark Davis.
It's not Mark Davis. It's Tom Brady.
And you got salary cap space, and you're starting from scratch. You literally have a blank canvas that you have to work. But again, like I said, the GM, when you go in there, what I say on the last show, B, if you're the GM, and I hope this guy did it, you go in there and you say, I need minimum 3, maximum 5 years to turn this shithole that you created over here around. Mind your business. Let me handle football operations. And in 3 to 5 years, if we're not where I'm telling you we're going to be, then you could fucking fire me. Otherwise, I don't want the job.
It makes sense. It's a Brady connection, right, Brian? We talked about it before, him heading over there. That Tampa Bay connection that he has with the guy they hired. I'm a little shocked that I don't know if
he had a connection with him. They played at Michigan together too.
They played at Michigan, yeah. I'm a little shocked. I'm a little shocked when we heard the news today that what's his name stepped away and took his name off the list for head coaching for the Jags. Liam Cohen. I thought he was going to be the package deal with Jason. I believe his name is Jason that hired the GM for the Raiders now, because it's a Tampa Bay package type of thing. I thought that might shift its way over to Vegas, and then they go get the quarterback that they want, because that Raider job is enticing.
I think they go to Vegas. Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked.
There's that connection. I think I just think that there's dysfunction in Jacksonville as well, because you still have the owner of Khan. The Khan is there. Like, I mean, look, here's the thing, man. Like, I feel like if we learn,
I think Khan's a bad owner. I think Khan just makes bad decisions.
But that's just it,
well, doesn't that make him a bad owner?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the problem. Like,
but the thing is, he's doing what other owners don't do. He's saying, okay, I'm bringing you in, run the team, run the organization. You're the football guy, not me.
He's bringing in wrong guys. Like, I get what you're saying. He's bringing in the wrong guys. And I get it. You can run the show, great. But if you bring in the wrong,
Balky was a bad hire. I don't even understand.
He said in the interview, I'm looking for somebody, a coach, to convince me to fire my GM with this GM of the same video.
It's crazy. Like, if we have learned anything from the Washington Commanders, ownership is so important in terms of
1,000%.
The trickle down effect of
1,000%
decision making. Like, you get a new owner, he hires good people, and then those good people, those GMs, the president, they hire good staff. The staff drafts good players. Like, it's just like it trickles down. Like, if you don't have the guy up top who is going to be able to hire good people and hire good management to run the team, it doesn't even matter. Like, I just feel like the Jets are in that position. Unless you're a unless you're a Mark Davis who hires Tom Brady, who's running the show, and Mark Davis is just collecting checks, or you're a Jed York who hired John Lynch, who's running the show, and you're just out of the way, because Jed York is an idiot too, but that's John Lynch's team. That's John Lynch's, and even John Elway. John Elway is running the show in Denver, right? It's not the Walmart people. It's John Elway. Like, it's John, right? So like that's what the Jets need. Jets need.
I thought John Elway walked away.
Did he walk away?
I thought he stepped down from being president.
Maybe he did. I felt like while I was saying that,
I might be wrong, but I thought he did.
I felt like I haven't heard his name in a long time, so I was like, he's still there.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure, but
I'm not sure.
I think both these guys should be okay. I think Glenn should be okay. I think Ben Johnson should be okay. I like where he's at. I like Ryan Poles. So those two guys should work well together. I think so. But Aaron Glenn, look, I mean, before we move on, there have been some guys in New York. Let's be real. There have been some guys in New York who've coached who didn't have quarterbacks necessarily and had success. Like Todd Bowles had success in New York, right? From what I remember.
Jeez.
He had success. He didn't have a quarterback, but he had success. And then Rex Ryan, another defensive guy, had success with Mark Sanchez. So
that's crazy.
It could happen. It could happen, but good luck to both these guys. They're about to experience some trash. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and move on to the games, man. Like this is still being talked about. This topic.
Oh boy.
The divisional weekend games. It's obviously the Bills and the Ravens, the Eagles, Balls, Eagles, and the Rams, and obviously the Chiefs and the Texans, and of course I'm missing the game. What game am I missing?
Rams and Eagles.
Commanders. Lions.
Commanders and Lions.
Yeah,
that's a blowout. I forgot that actually happened, honestly. Hey, Fall, we'll start with you. Give me a couple winners, a couple losers of the divisional round games. Anybody, anything. Give me a couple winners and losers. From any game.
Unfortunately, the loser for the Ravens is going to be Lamar Jackson. Because he's going to catch heat that shouldn't be thrown on him completely. And you and I talked about this. John Harbaugh is not catching any heat at all, and I don't understand why, because he's coaching a better team than he had, especially offensively, with Joe Flacco as quarterback, and you can't find a way to win in the playoffs. So I think, unfortunately, public perception is going to make Lamar Jackson a loser. I think the winner is the Chiefs. My big winner is the Chiefs. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, these guys have a chance to make history. And I'll say this. If the Kansas City Chiefs make the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl this year, I think you have a legit argument to make that Andy Reid is the greatest NFL coach of all time.
Here we go.
Just saying. Hot take.
Kind of a loser's hot take, but go ahead. Who are your winners? You said winners or who?
The winners are the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid.
Andy Reid. Okay. Go ahead, Drew. Who are your winners and losers of the weekend? Who won?
I don't want to argue with my two brothers. So I just don't want to. I'm so drained from all this moving that
it was a lot.
I just don't. I was getting it from you. I was getting it from AJ. I was getting it from everybody. Then I got some positive on it. I want to clearly state. I'm clearly stating the loser for me overall is the Ravens team. The Ravens team is the loser. Okay. All right.
That's not what that post said.
Yes, it did. I agree with Fogg though, and you and Harbaugh. I feel like he's really not catching any strays here. It's kind of crazy.
It's unbelievable the pass he's getting. It kind of
also. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, also, I don't know what it is. I feel like every year since 2000, and you guys can help me. I know Lamar Jackson's rookie year, he made it to the playoffs against the Chargers and lost the Chargers, and I think the OC that year was it Roman? Was it Roman? Greg Roman?
Yeah. I think Greg Roman was the OC for the next 2 years.
Has it been Greg Roman? Then it transitioned to who it is today, Todd Monken.
It was Greg Roman the first. It was Greg Roman pretty much his first 4 years, and then last year it was Todd Monken.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get that right because I feel like I don't know what it is, but I feel like the Ravens just go away from their identity on what they do all year, and then they get to playoffs and just like the big games, like the conference title last year. We talked about it on Game Winning Drive where they went away completely from the bread and butter, right? The running and the zone running and all this stuff that Lamar Jackson's really good at. I feel like they went away with that, but this year they went away from Derrick Henry. Only 16 carries is crazy. When they were he was demolishing them in the third quarter when they owned the third quarter. 16 carries. I didn't even think he got over 100 yards. Why go away from it when you're gashing when there's no presence in the middle of the trenches for the Buffalo Bills? They were getting destroyed and they were getting manhandled in the trenches in the second half. So John Harbaugh deserves blame. Todd Monken deserves blame, even though I think that extra point, the last extra point where Mark Andrews dropped the ball, I thought that play call was brilliant. Mark Andrews deserves blame. The defense deserves blame in the first half. Lamar Jackson deserves the blame. Do I think this is like his worst playoff game? Absolutely not. I think Lamar Jackson killed it the second half, like Brian and I had argued on our post, on my post. But overall, I think overall as a team, it's a loss. The biggest winner for me for the weekend is the Washington Commanders. I did not expect to see such a maturation and poise from a rookie quarterback that with all the noise and everything that you would face on a road game in a dome in Detroit where they've been lethal all year in the last 2 years. They created havoc. I don't know if you guys know who the DC is for the Commanders, whoever it is,
I'll look it up.
He deserves his flowers because to get 3 picks, to get constant pressure on Jared Goff, and to slow this heavy Detroit Lions offense, which I think we all agree that's probably the best offense entering this playoffs. To be able to do that and shut them down, and I'm kind of getting sick and tired of hearing Amon-Ra talk about receivers that are picked ahead of him. Like, dude, like you just need to focus on getting to the Super Bowl. Like, you just can't you can't show up the NFC Conference Championship against the 49ers. You disappeared in the second half, and then you disappeared the majority of this game against the Commanders. So it's like, enough is enough, dude. Like, I don't know if it's a Jared Goff problem. I don't know. The coaching now has been completely slashed, decimated with 3 guys. He lost 3 guys. That's going to be an issue, I think, for 25 for the Lions. But that's the biggest loser to me over this weekend is the Lions.
So the DC for the Commanders is Joe Witt Jr.
Yeah, he needs to get some love. He's got to get some love, bro.
He got an interview. He got interviews for the Jets, and they obviously passed on him, but he's gonna get love next year. He will.
Yeah, he killed it, bro.
He did.
You also got to remember Dan Quinn is a defensive.
I was going to say that Dan Quinn's a defensive guy.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Quinn was involved in that game plan heavily.
Yeah,
it's just crazy how Jaden Daniels was able to. You know what I'm saying? Like, have we ever seen that from a rookie? In maybe Big Ben, right? Big Ben.
I was talking to my friend about that. We were talking about it, and look, Jaden Daniels is having a phenomenal year. Don't get me wrong, and you can argue that he's the greatest rookie of all time, but I think people forget Big Ben was undefeated his rookie year, regular season.
Yes.
He was 13. Okay,
yep.
And he made it to the AFC game only to lose to Tom Brady in 2004. So I'm just saying. I'm saying, but I will say to Jaden Daniels' credit, who's one of my winners, to his credit, he's not doing this with an all-time defense like we had in Pittsburgh. He's not doing it with that.
Oh, he's not. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not.
Doing it with that. He's not doing it all-time defense.
He's not.
He's not doing it.
They're not even. They're not a top 10 defense.
He's not doing it with veterans like Jerome Bettis and Hines Ward and Antoine Randall and all those guys up front. Like he's not doing that. Like he's not doing it with with Rod Woodson at the last legs of his career. But in Troy Polamalu, he's not doing all that. So there's a lot. Like you can easily say that Jaden Daniels is carrying this team, right? It's easy. You can honestly say that. I can't say Ben.
That's interesting.
I can't say Ben carried the Steelers. I can't. I watched that whole. I remember that in 2004. I was young, but he didn't carry the Steelers. He was just managing, but going undefeated as a rookie is still damn impressive. So Jaden Daniels is one of my biggest winners because of just, and he did it on the road. Like it wasn't even at home. It was he's doing this on the road. Like
twice.
Even more impressive. Like he's going into people's houses and stealing their food, man. Like this guy is incredible. Like it's not
you can make the argument right now based on the numbers, and people are not going to like this one. Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the playoffs right now. He is playing better than anybody else. Yes, by the numbers. Look at the numbers. He's better than any other quarterback.
He's probably
really.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
his shoulders outperforming.
Wow, how do you know that?
He's outperforming everybody. Now, the only person that's close to him was actually Lamar Jackson, right? It was actually Lamar, and I believe
it makes sense.
Sense. So yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna get to my losers. I'm telling you right now, I love Lamar. I really do. Do not let Jaden Daniels win a Super Bowl for him. There's going to be a conversation to be had if he wins. I'm telling you, he better not win over Lamar Jackson because it's going to be bad. It's going to be
Is it still bad if he makes it to Super Bowl but not wins?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it won't. Honestly,
it's bad. It's bad and it's not just for Lamar Jackson. It's bad for a lot of these
quarterbacks.
If Josh
the Dax of the world,
the Jalen Hurts of the world, Herbert. Oh God, yeah, yeah, like
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, all these guys with all the hype behind. Man,
Does the NFC play a part in that or no for you guys? Because the NFC, a lot of people think the NFC is a lot less talented.
I think
you don't have to go through Patrick Mahomes.
I think it's fair. He doesn't got to go through Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen,
Joe Burrow,
Justin Herbert. Like, he's not. You can make the argument by this time next year, he could be the best quarterback in the NFC.
Yeah, but he's not playing against quarterbacks. He's playing against defenses, and if you look at the defenses, I think 6 of the top 10 defenses in the NFL came from the NFC this year.
Really? Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
As far as Paul, so we've had this conversation. Paul likes to play this game where, like, yes, we get it. The quarterbacks aren't playing each other. We understand. But the whole point we're saying is when you're going up against Baker Mayfield or Bryce Young, who I love, or Derek Carr, like
it's a difference.
You're probably going to score more points than them.
Yeah,
that's the point I'm talking. That's the point we're making. Like it's hard to score more points than Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. But understanding your point, but yeah, I think Jaden Daniels. I think playing the NFC matters, but he's still a rookie, dude. Like it's no, and he's doing this for a team that's not stacked.
That's the biggest thing for me.
Biggest thing for me. Like, he's not on a. You can't use that as an excuse. So my biggest losers, honestly, we don't. And I'm kind of tired of this. We don't give coaches enough heat. So my biggest loser are my biggest loser is John Harbaugh and the coaching staff for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, because
we don't give a lot. We don't say this enough. Coaches can choke too. Okay, coaches can overcoach. Coaches can say coaches literally if you're on a sideline or a football game, they literally get in their heads. Like they literally outcoach themselves because they want to be the smartest person in the room. No, I don't want to give it Derrick Henry. I want to run this design play with Lamar Jackson, have him roll out and do all this bullshit instead of giving it to the guy who's 250 pounds to run it down. Like I'm telling you, like coaches literally coach themselves. So, and that's Todd Monken, and he's done this 2 years in a row. I hope teams who want to hire him are paying attention to that, because you have a guy that has all this talent and is out coaching himself. I wouldn't want to hire that guy. That's just me. So that's the biggest thing. So Todd Monken and John Harbaugh for going for 2 when he didn't need to go for 2, who's not getting enough heat for doing stupid stuff, right? I feel like John Harbaugh needs more heat, but because Lamar Jackson saved his job in 2018 and Lamar Jackson loves the guy, they're probably not going to get rid of him anytime soon. So that's my biggest. My other biggest loser actually coincides with my biggest winner. My loser is the Bills, because they got to play the Chiefs, who I believe got the team they wanted to play. And I think they're going to. I'm giving away my pick right now. They're going to run through the Bills. They're going to run through them. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't give the Bills any shot to win this game, because I think the Bills, Spog and I, you and I talked about it last week. I think the Bills are overachieving. Mm-hmm. I think they're overachieving like hell. Sean McDermott's doing a hell of a job. I'll give him that. And Joe Brady's doing a hell of a job. I'll give him that. James Cook, I have over under on him, and we'll get to that. But he's doing a hell of a job. But I think the Chiefs are not going to lose to the Bills 2 times in 1 year in Arrowhead. Come on, man. That's not happening. That's not happening. I felt like the Chiefs, when they saw the Ravens lose this game, I felt like there was a collective breath of fresh air. I really do, because I don't think they want to see the Ravens, even though they lost to the Chiefs.
No, I don't think they could have physically handled the Ravens, especially if the Ravens ran that ball down their throat.
Yeah, and it's so those are my biggest losers right there. My winner are the Chiefs, because they got the good matchup, right? Let me shout out Saquon Barkley real quick. I know no one picked him as a winner, but honestly, if we're being real, we're a quarterback league. We're a quarterback league, so it's going to be Lamar. But the real MVP is Saquon Barkley. Like, he's unbelievable. He's the MVP of this league. He should be, at least. He should be. Let's see. David Jones has some comments real quick. You could argue Mayfield and Carr were top 5 quarterbacks this year.
He meant Mayfield and Goff, and statistically, Mayfield was in the top 10.
I was like, I thought he was.
Did you see Baker was top 10?
Baker statistically was the top 5 quarterback this year.
Was he in your top 10 list?
Yes.
Where was Daniels? Was he in there too?
Yeah, Daniels was in there as well.
I believe you put him, right?
I think it was he might have been like 6th or 7th. Daniels was, yeah.
I thought so.
Hey, I'm not a Baker hater. Maybe I'm a little bit, but I try not to be. But he played in the worst division in football, so I'm just to let you know.
So what? He's not supposed to play, or what?
No, he can play. No, of course he can play.
Well, I mean, listen. Tom Brady played in the worst division in the AFC for years, but his numbers were still his numbers.
It's true. We talked about that. We've talked about that. We have talked about that. We have talked about that. Let's go ahead and do some. Let's go ahead and do some over unders real quick. Let's do the over unders of these games of the AFC and NFC title game, and let's see what these over unders mean. So my first over under. Let me get this graphic up real quick.
Hey, what was that over under for Jaden Daniels at the start of the year touchdown passes? Did you have it at 23.5? And I said over
23.5. What did you get?
25.
I feel like he has more touchdowns than that. It's crazy.
Well, total touchdowns, yeah, but passing touchdowns, 25.
Damn. Yeah. I said 23.5. Yeah. I think
so
I said
he was easily over 30 then with rushing.
Yep.
Yeah. Over under. James Cook rushes for 90.5 yards. The reason why I chose this number. The reason why I chose this number is because the last 2 games he's averaged 90 yards a game. 90 yards, right? Over under. Go ahead. Drew, go ahead.
Let Drew go first. I'm going to BetMGM right now. I want to see what the over-under is on his rushing yards. That seems high.
Is it really 90.5?
I believe so. If my math is correct.
That's crazy against that D line.
2 games.
Oh, okay.
Last 2 games.
Games. It's under. It's under for me. It's under.
Under?
The Buffalo Bills are they're going to have to evade away from running the ball in the second half. So they're under.
I think James Cook is the X factor in this game. If he runs for 90.5 yards, they're winning that game.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to win that game. He's the X factor. If they can move the ball and keep Josh Allen off the football field with that's Mahomes with Josh Allen running, I think they win the game. You keep him off the field. If he rushes for almost 100 yards, they won that game.
If he even rushes for 85 yards, they're possibly winning that game. I'm taking the under all day on this one. All day.
People are sleeping on James Cook. He just earned himself a fat contract. They found their running back. They've been looking for a running back for years. They went through some guys and Singletary and was that Zach Moss and all these weird dudes. They found their guy. They found their guy, and they're definitely gonna sign him to.
But Brian, they have you not watched like the last 2 weeks where they really done the 3 running back trio type of strategy with Johnson and Johnson's becoming like the big pass catcher that he is, and then he did a lot. He got more than 5 rushing attempts last week. I was kind of shocked by it, but I really if you had to tell me, I think it would be all 4 of them, including Allen, running productively. All 4 of them working to where their roles are. See, my X factor for me from the Bills, and I'm with you. I'm not giving them any shot. But the Bills X factor for me is Shakir. And he's got to be a dog, dude.
David Jones seems to agree with you. Do they give Cook enough touches?
I just don't think they do, dude.
Do they give him enough touches?
I don't even think James Cook goes over 90.5 yards in total yards.
Well, he's not a pass catcher.
He's not a pass catcher.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
He could still catch like 1 pass for 10 yards.
No, I hear you.
He can. All right, next over under. They're saying this guy's supposed to have a pretty big week.
Wait, you didn't pick.
I said under.
Oh, you said under? Okay.
He'll be under. I'm saying if he goes over 90, they're winning. But
they're winning the game?
Say again?
They're winning the game. He goes over 90?
I would say so. That would tell me a couple things. That would tell me they're keeping him off the field. They're running the ball pretty well, and Josh Allen's probably killing it. Something's happened. Okay. Something's going terribly wrong for the Chiefs if James Cook's going over 90 yards. That's all I know. Something's going terribly
James Cook goes for over 90 yards. Yeah, the Chiefs are losing that
game. Something's going wrong. Chris Jones is out.
Want to break out a big run in the first game, first quarter.
Hollywood Brown. There's a reason why I did this. Hollywood Brown has 5.5 catches in this game.
Oh, okay.
Is he playing?
Yeah.
He played the last 2 weeks.
He's been in the game.
Under.
Yeah.
I'm taking the under on that one.
Hey, first of all, he had 5 catches. He had 4 catches against us. Okay. 5 against the Texans. But he is playing, though. Yes, he's playing.
Yeah, I'm taking the under on this one.
The under?
Yeah.
Drew, what do you got?
Under. Most definitely under. Too many guys to feed. He's not the main guy. I'm surprised Xavier Worthy got as many targets as he did last week with everybody around him. So I think Mahomes is trusting Worthy a lot more now. So.
Yeah.
I got over. I think this is going to be one of those games.
Wow.
I think this is one of those games they're going to want to feature him. I think Andy Reid's going to want to kind of come out and do something different. I think they're gonna bracket Kelsey. I think Kelsey's gonna get his, but I think they're gonna try to take Kelsey out. They not take him out literally, but they're gonna try to stop him and put some. Finally, somebody may play man on him. I don't know, but I think Kelsey's gonna be somewhat of a non-factor in this game. But I think Hollywood Brown has his catches. I do. I think he's gonna get up, and if he has 5.5 catches, they win that game. Because that means everyone's getting open. That means the ball is being spread. That means everyone's getting open. One thing I don't trust is the secondary for the Buffalo Bills. So
I don't trust their D line. Good Lord.
No, they're small, which is the reason why the Ravens are Todd Monken is a head case. He's like it's unbelievable. I hope he never gets a coaching job. He was up for some jobs. Like I don't know if he got interviews, but his name was coming up. I was like,
I didn't see him get an interview.
Who wants to hire this guy who doesn't even
I think the Raiders had him on the list to interview.
Goodness gracious. This guy coaches himself out of games. All right, over under 0.5 interceptions for Josh Allen.
He's got to throw the ball. I'm gonna stay over.
Drew, mind you, he has not thrown a pick in the last 3 games.
I'm picking him to lose the game. So if they're going to lose this game, he's throwing a pick.
This is the new and improved conservative Josh Allen, by the way.
I don't know if you guys saw that stat the other day that was released after they won. I think it was Monday. He broke a record for the least amount of turnovers ever by a quarterback with his stats. It was kind of crazy. I'm going to say under.
Least amount of turnovers in the season?
Something about like his rushing yards and his passing yards and his touchdowns.
I don't think he had any fumbles this year. I think that's true.
It was like the average of turnovers. He was lower ever in the history of the NFL. It was some weird thing. I gotta find it, but
I think it was based on his. I think based on passing attempts. I think it was.
Yeah, it was something weird. It was. No one's ever been able to do it for like 50 years or something like that. I'm gonna say under, dude. For me, I don't think we gave enough credit to Joe Brady and Sean McDermott. I know you guys say Sean McDermott had a great game plan. The game plan they did, the Ravens controlling the clock, and it was just brilliance by him not turning over the ball. He's becoming a game manager this year, and I think they realize that with what they have around them on the offensive side, and they honestly, Fogg. I remember we talked about at the beginning of the year. We really didn't give enough credit to the Bills' line. They really are sneaky good.
They're good. He doesn't get sacked.
Torrance, the guard. I mean, he was just dominating. I can't think of the Rams D end. He was dominating him. Will that happen this Sunday? I don't know, dude. Chris Jones is just a different dude.
Yeah.
I don't think the Baltimore Ravens have anybody like Chris Jones or even close. No. So it's just like, I don't know what Carlos Baptist. I can't say George Carlos Baptist, the DN, the white dude. I mean, my God, he was catching up to CJ Stroud and Joe Mixon like no other. The pursuit of angles and his speed is insane. But yeah, dude, I'm gonna say under, Brian. I'm gonna say under, but this is a tough one. That's a tough one.
He had a pick against the Chiefs when they first played.
He had picks.
He had 1 interception against the Chiefs. He had a pretty good game. He had 262. So he kind of lit that defense up a little bit, right? When the game was played in Buffalo, right? What Josh Allen to me has turned into is a combination of 2 guys who I'm a big fan of. Well, one guy I'm a big fan of, the other guy can whatever. But he is turning into a combination of Cam Newton, and he's turned into a combination of a young Ben Roethlisberger, who is very careful with the ball and knew when to run, and was just a guy that just didn't make a lot of mistakes because he either ran or he checked down. That's all Big Ben did when he was younger. He ran, he checked down, and he was so hard to tackle. Josh Allen reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger a lot, right? And he reminds me of Cam a little bit because he can run, right? And when he does run, he's almost guaranteed a first down, right? So I'm going to say under because I think he's going to want to limit the mistakes because he's going to want to stay on the field. And this is why I think James Cook is such an X factor. Because if James Cook ends up having a game where he's getting chunk yards, 5, 6, 7 here, and Josh Allen's getting a 2nd and 3, check down to secure, something like that, pretty much what they did with the Ravens, right? I think the Bills could win that way, but I just feel like the Chiefs are just too good, and I think the Bills are he's gonna have to pass. He's gonna have to throw it. So I'm gonna say under. I don't think he's gonna. I think he throws no picks, but I don't know how many touchdowns he scores either. Right, with his arm, I think he's gonna get him with his legs.
His legs.
So yeah, he had 2 rushing touchdowns against the Ravens, but I don't think he throws any touchdown passes though. I just don't. He's playing super conservative. But yeah, shout out to Joe Brady. Even though I don't think Joe Brady is going to be a great coach because he wasn't a great coach in Carolina. So I think whoever hires him is making another mistake. He's a guy. He's the classic case of a guy that needs to stay a coordinator. Don't worry about being a head coach because it's not for you. That's Joe Brady. He needs to stay in Buffalo for as long as he can, but he'll take a job. He'll take a job. We'll see. Let's see. My next over-under is Mr. Saquon Barkley. Over-under 3 30-plus runs for Saquon Barkley against the Washington Commanders.
God, this is tough.
3 40-plus runs. He had 2 last week.
I'm taking the under.
In the snow. The under.
I'm taking the under.
Have you seen Saquon Barkley's stats against
I have. Trust me, I have. I'm taking the under.
I'm not even talking about this year, Paul. I'm talking about this year and beyond, or in the past in New York.
Fog, what's the weather going to be like in Philadelphia on Sunday?
Doesn't matter what the weather is. He's not getting 3 30-plus runs.
Kind of matters a little bit. I mean,
is
it snowing?
No, it's not going to be snowing. It's going to be brick, though.
Over. That's all. That's all I want to know, Fog. Over. Okay. I'll take the over.
Over?
Yep.
How many times has he done that this year exactly in a game?
It's the title game. It's a different story.
He did twice last game. I believe he did it 3 times against the Rams. The first time
against the Rams, he did. He also put up 255 rushing yards in that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your point.
Absolute animal, dude.
30 yards is not a lot.
Him going to the Philadelphia Eagles is the greatest free agent signing we have seen in probably a decade. Seriously. Not a decade, maybe in 5 years. Because I do love the Tom Brady signing to Tampa Bay.
I was going to say, that's a good sign.
This was like freaking peanut butter, meat, and jelly. It's just, I said in the offseason, I think this was the X factor that Philly needed. I know Fogg was happy about it, but wasn't over the top because it's a running back and his injury played past. But honestly, dude, like this guy is just.
Can you make the argument that? Oh, go ahead.
No, he's just revolutionizing the running back spot again. He's making running backs more important.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, I was gonna say between him and Derrick Henry really shown the value of a running back and what it can do for your offense. And I honestly, you know who else I'll throw in there? I'll even throw in Joe Mixon. Because Joe Mixon did great things for the Texans. The Texans and the Bengals look like they missed Joe Mixon a little bit, right?
Yeah. What sucks with the Joe Mixon thing, though, is that C.J. Stroud had a sophomore slump. But people are not going to bring up the injuries that he's dealt with for receivers, and the offense line was one of the worst offensive lines from a passing perspective this year. But he did have a slump, a sophomore slump, regardless.
That's true. I would even say, I'm not comparing the seasons because obviously the season ended early. I think Josh Jacobs, also another running back, had another phenomenal year for the Packers.
He did.
Like he was a not revelation, but he added some toughness to that team that they sorely needed. So, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. I think Saquon definitely is one of the greatest free agent. I mean, there are other guys I can think of like 10 years is hard. I mean, I'm thinking of like obviously Brady. I'm thinking of was Peyton Manning go to the Broncos 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's a 2015. He was with the Broncos.
Manning. So there's been some, I mean, quarterback wise, there's been some good ones. All time, you got like Deion going to the Niners.
I'll have to do my research on all time. But
yeah, but this is like you said, it's almost damn near perfect. You run for 2,000 yards. 2,000 yards. I mean, yeah. So I'm picking the over. I got 3. I can see him. I can see him running for 30 plus yards in this game. 30. I think
Kirk Cousins. He said Kirk Cousins is the greatest free agent signing.
Kirk Cousins has the greatest agent ever.
I love David.
The greatest agent ever. But yeah, I think Saquon. I think he's the MVP in my opinion. He's my MVP. I would vote for him over Lamar Jackson.
I agree.
I would vote for Lamar Jackson. I would. I'm sorry. He's changed Lamar is great. He's always going to be great. But Saquon has changed just the personality of this team. I'll go on a limb and say I don't think they make the playoffs without Saquon. I don't think the Eagles make the playoffs. Not the way Jalen's played. I'm sorry.
I still think they would have made a wild card.
Yeah,
I think they would have made it.
I don't know. I don't know. It's tough.
Who was the 7th seed?
Who?
Was it Commanders, the 7th seed?
6th seed. I think 6th seed. Oh, the 7th seed was for the NFC. God, hold on. I had the graphic up.
The Rams, Bucks, Vikings.
Vikings, yeah. No, Vikings were just.
Were they?
Vikings were I think Commanders were 7. Vikings were 6.
No, the Packers were 7.
The Packers were 7.
Oh,
yeah,
Packers. Yeah.
I said I think the Vikings were like a 5 seed. Something.
The Packers were 7.
I think Philly would still get in somehow. I don't know.
It'll be a struggle. All right, over under 275.5 yards passing for Jaden Daniels.
Under.
And
under. A lot of running from him.
A lot of running?
I think he's going to run a lot on Sunday.
Man. So you think he'll...
What are we saying that for? Does that hurt you or what?
He had 258 when he first played and 5 touchdowns.
Okay. What do you have last week?
At 299.
299?
No, like in 2 touchdowns. Like
indoors, no weather factor, and a defense that was depleted on that side of the ball with injuries. This is a different defense he's going to be facing in the elements. Nope,
Somebody said that same thing. Somebody said that same thing when he played the Eagles the first time. He threw for 5 touchdowns against them. Like somebody said, yeah, this is a different defense, man. This is different. He ain't seen this yet. 5 touchdowns. Shut up.
Oh no, I didn't. That second game against Philadelphia, I was concerned because I did not like the way Philadelphia was looking going into that game, and I did not like how Washington was looking going into that game.
Washington can F around, win the playoff, and win the Super Bowl, man. I'm gonna say under. But I'm probably gonna regret it because I feel like it's gonna be one of those games where he's gonna have to just go all out. I think Saquon's gonna go all out as well, but I feel like Jaden Daniels is gonna have a monster, just statistical game. And and Drew, I agree. I think his legs are going to really, really come into play.
If he goes for over 275, he's
I think
also
they win.
probably throwing 3 or 4 touchdown passes, and they are beating the brakes off the Eagles. I'm just saying that.
Eagles secondary is, I just think it's
I also
too
believe.
good.
I also believe, and I also believe that Jalen Hurts is actually really hurt. I think he's battered up. He's battered.
That from last game?
The season. The last game is knee.
The knee sprain?
He's battered up. And I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain drives. Right. And I don't know how much you can say look, Saquon's a running back, man. I don't know how much he would be able to handle. Like,
Hurts better start getting rid of that ball fast to Brown and Smith. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, if they can't keep Jane off the field, Jane's gonna light him up, man. Cliff Kingsbury's in his back too. Let me shout him out real quick. I hate him as a head coach, but as a coordinator, he's phenomenal. Right? He is great. He's really, really good.
He's definitely better than Kellen Moore.
Well. Speaking of Kellen Moore,
terrible take.
Terrible take.
Terrible take.
Really? Okay.
I think Kellen Moore is great.
They trolling?
No, I've been consistent in that for years.
I didn't know. I honestly have never heard. I never heard anybody say Kellen Moore being great. I'm not saying he's not. I just never heard.
A lot of people have.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll like this one. You'll like this next one, I guess, because
Kellen Moore is basic.
Your face is basic.
Oh man, that's all right. I had some technical difficulties here, but all right, here we go. Yeah, this is gonna slow. Let me just show
It's a great picture of Jaden Daniels, though.
Kellen
you see the veins from his wrist to his elbow.
Kellen Moore's coaches one game for the Eagles in 2025. Over under.
Oh, over. Easy.
So you think basically he'll be back?
Yeah, he isn't getting a head coach job.
You don't want to go to Dallas.
I believe.
And nobody else wants his ass.
I'm honestly believing Dallas is waiting for him to lose, and they're going to hire him. They're going to offer it to him. This is the perfect candidate, the absolute perfect candidate for the job.
Jerry Jones.
No. Sean Hyman's
not the perfect. No, not the perfect candidate for the job. He's the perfect candidate for Jerry Jones.
Yes, what I mean. Yeah, I agree. He's the perfect candidate. He's getting the job. I think they interviewed him already. They've interviewed him. They like him. Obviously, he knows Jerry Jones. He played there. It's pretty much Jason Garrett all over again. He knows Jerry. Jerry can control him. He could be a puppet. I don't think it's a good hire. I'm not saying it's a good hire because I don't think Kellen Moore is ready to be a coach. I don't think he has a coach. I don't know. He just doesn't really seem like a guy that's going to be a head. Like it's going to be polarizing in the locker room. But yeah, I think Kellen Moore. More's out.
They did a before and after when he left to the Chargers, and when Mike McCarthy took over. And the offense has dwindled like no other for Dallas. Yeah. I think he does a lot of great things, and the fact that he was able to be adaptive to Philadelphia and what they needed, especially getting Saquon Barkley. I think Barkley makes any OC's job easier, right? I think we all can agree on that, especially with the offensive line that Philadelphia has. But to see him be able to be adaptive and to mold his playbook, because a lot of people heading into the Philly season was saying that he wasn't going to be able to be creative with his runs and his schemes and gap schemes and all that stuff. I think he's fit the bill and he's passed the test in Philly. As a head coach, it'd be interesting. I just don't think he wants to go to Dallas and be under that rule of thumb. So stick with what you know and go back to Philly for another year. That would be my opinion, my advice to him. I wouldn't go back to Dallas. No, thank you.
He's been turned down or looked over, or I should say looked over for a lot of coaching jobs in the past. I think he interviewed for the Chargers, and I believe they did he? Drew, you would know, right? I believe
no, he declined it.
Oh, he declined.
They asked him. He declined it. He didn't want to be there next year because he knew from what I was read that he knew that Harbaugh was coming in.
Harbaugh was coming.
He knew he's like, yeah. So he said there's no point of doing. That's why he didn't take the interim head coaching job when they fired Staley, obviously. But yeah, I know he declined.
Okay. Yeah, I just have this weird feeling that that I think Kellen Moore is out, especially if they win it all or if they get to the Super Bowl. I think he's out. I think
you gonna go to Dallas?
I think he goes to Dallas. I do. I think when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, this is their guy. And especially here's the thing. They wanted Dion, they didn't hire Dion. They asked for Dion. They didn't even like this. That's when I knew that whole. I think the whole Dion thing was a show, a ploy to show people that we're still the Dallas Cowboys, and look, Deion Sanders wants us, right? So that means we're still a viable job. Like that was a ploy. I didn't believe that for a second, but yeah, I think Kellen Moore. I don't think he coaches one more game in 2025. I think he's out. I think he's ready. All right, let's go ahead and get our picks in, man. Let's get our picks in. Big weekend coming up. AFC title game picks. Here we go. Fog, start us off, baby. Who you got?
Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just, I don't want it to be because I hate the Patrick Mahomes lovers. I can't, but I just can't. I can't see Buffalo winning this game. Not after the way they won that game against Baltimore. You get 3 turnovers from the Ravens, and you still barely beat them. You're a dropped 2-point conversion away from winding up in overtime. Yeah, the coaching alone right here is going to cook Buffalo.
Yep. Drew, you got?
Oh my God!
Come on, stop! It's not that hard.
It's really not.
No, I know. In my head, I'm just thinking like how good this would be if it was Baltimore.
Don't Todd Monken this shit
up. Just give it to Derrick Henry, God damn it!
For real, like seriously, like what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a relatively close game heading into the fourth. I'm still going to go Kansas City. It's just they're just too powerful in all 3 phases of the game. I mean, they're well coached, and I'm sick and tired of the official stuff, and they were still kicking ass against Houston Texans. I do want to see the X factor for me for the Chiefs though. It's Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. It's just guys. It's the 1-2 combo, owning the trenches and doing what they can. And even though Patrick Mahomes isn't doing what he's done before, he's winning more championships without that high-powered offense he had back in 2018 and 2020 when they beat the Niners with Tyreek Hill. They're just too well coached and well experienced. I know Josh Allen's been in the playoffs every year, but I just feel like Sean McDermott gets in his way sometimes in these games. And so does Josh Allen. Playing a little bit of hero ball. If it's going to affect him, I'm going to go Kansas City here, boys. Andy Reid's back in the Super Bowl, man. That's just crazy to me. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I just the Chiefs have entered into the era where like just seeing them teams freak out. Just like where the Patriots were the same. We saw the Patriots. We saw Tom Brady and the Patriots come out. You just freaked out, and teams just like we did. As a Steeler fan, it pissed me off, but it's weird. I don't think the Chiefs are that great. I think there's just an aura about them. I hate that word, but it is what it is. There is an aura about them that it's hard to beat psychologically. And it's hard. It's hard to be. And look, I don't care what anybody says. I'm a human bias guy. I'm a psych major. I'm a mental health. I believe in human biases. The refs have human biases. I don't care what anybody says. The refs know there's history. The refs know what the Chiefs are trying to do. And look, at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes, and maybe even deservingly, is the new golden boy of the NFL. And he's going to get the damn calls, which is annoying. And they get extra drives and extra possessions. It's the last thing Mahomes and Kelsey and all they need. It's so hard to beat. They're so hard to beat. And I felt like the Baltimore Ravens were that team that could beat them because they can keep them off the field and they can score a lot of points. Because I don't think the Chiefs score a lot of points, right? I don't think they can score a lot of points because they don't have the guys, right? And they don't have the offensive coordinator. People are ignoring that Matt Nagy is the coordinator for this team, even though Andy Reid calls the plays. That clown is the coordinator. You know what's gonna piss me off even more? He's probably gonna get a head coaching job because he's the coordinator for the Chiefs.
Hired that bum ass.
Oh, no, someone's gonna hire him. I'm telling you,
everybody knows it's Andy Reid.
Somebody doesn't matter. Somebody's gonna hire Matt Nagy because they just think he can coach all of a sudden. But I'm going Kansas City. I don't know what the spread is, Fog. I don't know if you know the spread, but I don't think they cover. A Bills cover. I think the Chiefs.
Little tidbit of news here, which kind of freaked me out a little bit about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow beat him in the playoffs. Who's the other one?
Brady.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane.
Honestly,
it's insane.
The one thing people are Brady, I'm sure he goes to sleep at night. Twice.
No, I'm saying 2 is the spread right now.
Oh, 2 is the spread.
On BetMGM, the spread right now is 2.
Oh, I was saying that Brady has beaten Mahomes twice.
Yeah.
Brady's 2-0 against Mahomes in the playoffs. He can always say that. Just like Eli Manning can always say he's 2-0.
That's ghost stuff, baby. That's ghost stuff.
He's 2-0 against Mahomes, whether you like it or not. And you know, Bobby's one of those people that still believes in Santa Claus and thinks that the refs call an even game down the line when they play, but we'll ignore him.
No, he doesn't. Listen. I gotta I gotta shout Bobby out. I spoke to him last night. He called me. He doesn't believe that they call it even keel, but like he's saying there, he doesn't believe those 2 penalties were the result of the Chiefs help that it was the reason they won the game. And I had to explain to him it helped them win the game. It helped them. It helps when you're getting those calls.
Like, it extends drives. It gives you extra down because after that bogus, ask Bobby, type this for me. After that bogus, the first bogus.
Bobby, type this for me.
Type this for me real quick. Answer this question while we go on to the NFC. Okay. After that bogus first roughing the passer called, what happened literally after that?
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of here.
Oh, it pisses me off.
Get out of here with that. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, if you don't like, hey Bobby, stop fighting it and just enjoy it because it doesn't last long. Okay, enjoy this privilege you have about having a team that's in the middle of a dynasty and the NFL wants it. Enjoy it because the Patriots enjoyed it for 20 years. Yo,
Brian, can you bring up the comment again? What Bobby said on our main page here on the main.
Oh yeah.
Can you click on it real quick?
Yeah.
That profile picture, man. That reminds me of a guy trying to go for the Avengers and he got cut out, dude. That's a dope ass picture. He looks serious. He looks like he's ready to go to war.
Bobby's a serious guy.
I love that picture. Love you, Bobby.
Bobby's a true Chiefs fan too. I must say he's been riding with them.
Couldn't tell.
He's not he's been riding with them like Trent Green. So he's had some bad years. So I'll let him have it.
Trent Green.
I know. God. Trent Green. Priest Holmes. He's been riding with them since then. All right, NFC title game. Who you got, Drew? Start with you. Commanders, Eagles.
I've been struggling with this all week. I hate the Eagles with a passion because of my brother. But damn it, I gotta stick to my guns. I'd say the Eagles the most complete team in the NFC the past 2 months. I think they're top to bottom. They're great. The only thing that I have an issue with is their head coach. Yeah, I would love to see the Commanders just because of the story. The story would be absolutely remarkable to see Jaden Daniels be able to win this game as a rookie.
Yeah.
And that whole entire Super Bowl week, the coverage, the stories, the LSU, everything would just be amazing to see. For him to even win a Super Bowl would be amazing to see. I mean, he's the complete package. I think I was wrong. I don't think I am. I am wrong about the whole CJ Stroud being the face. I think it might be him. But with that being said, I got to stick with my guns, Fog, and we talked about it. Brian, we talked about it. I think the Eagles are the most complete team in the NFC, and I think it's going to show out on Sunday. They're going to dominate the trenches. They're going to play great, solid defense as much as they can. And, for what it is, man, I think Jalen Hurts knows how to win these big games. So I'm going to go – it's going to be close. I'm going to go Eagles 20, Commanders 17. Game-winning field goal is going to win this thing.
Wow, the drama.
Yeah.
Who's the kicker for the Eagles?
Huh?
Who's the kicker for the Eagles?
Jake Elliott.
Oh, Jake Elliott. That's it. Hey, you came to class last week. You know, you missed 2 PATs.
Yeah.
Well, who you got?
Look, the Eagles should win the Super Bowl. I think they're piggybacking off what Drew said. This is the most complete team in these playoffs on both sides of the ball. There's no reason why they shouldn't. The only reason that's going to be why they don't win it all is going to be coaching. And it's going to be coaching decisions that are going to be made, unfortunately. I'm taking the Eagles. The Eagles should beat Washington, and it shouldn't be a 3-point game. This should be a game where Philadelphia walks away winning 20. There's no reason this should come down to the wire. The Eagles are the better team. Washington's been riding a high. Jaden Daniels, I said he was the best quarterback coming out in the draft.
You did, you son of a bitch. Oh, my God. You did.
He didn't go out on a limb. A lot of people did. It was like Jane Dale was a 6th round pick. He was second overall.
It was still pretty argumentative. Look, like it wasn't really just cold shut case.
Caleb Williams had a good year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, he did. And he's having a really good one sitting on the couch right now.
He did. Caleb Williams. Look, put Jaden Daniels in that offense.
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man.
I'll tell you what, I think Jaden Daniels finds DJ Moore a lot more than Caleb Williams did.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Say it again.
I think Jaden Daniels finds DJ Moore a hell of a lot more than Caleb Williams did.
With what time?
Oh, Jaden Daniels finds time.
Okay. Brian, you listen, man. I love Caleb Williams with all my heart. I love him, but I think I might be wrong on this list. I did. I think Jaden Daniels might be number 1, dude, and I might even push Drake May to 2. Honestly, dude, I've seen a lot of issues with Caleb Williams. Not just the O-line issues. I think he has a lot of developing that needs to get done. Honestly.
Well,
I think Fogg hit the nail on the head in his what do you call it? In his when he did this thing. What do you call it, Fogg? The not analyst, but like
metrics.
Metrics. Like when Fogg brought up the one read pony or trick pony thing that Caleb does. He sticks to one read and he just falls it the entire time.
Yeah,
and he doesn't really manipulate the pocket that I thought he would as he did in USC and obviously in college. But dude, like he had, and not only that, his release time is one of the worst in the NFL. So it's like he has a lot of things he has to fix that I really didn't see it being an issue to that much of a degree. But man, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, I mean, I think they would have done better in Chicago than Caleb this past year. I really do. I really believe that.
Look, here's the thing. Jaden just came into a situation.
It's Fogometrics.
Jaden, Fogometrics. It is Fogometrics. That's what he calls it.
Is that what you call it, Fog?
Yep, Fogometrics.
Look, I'll just say this. I'll say this, man. I always say this. I'm going to keep saying it. Situation matters. I feel like Caleb Williams had the worst coaching staff out of all the three. I think he was terrible. I think everybody knows that Eberflus should have. I can't tell. I went to a Bears game, and I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that even when Caleb Williams was playing horribly, I can't tell you how many times the people were saying, man, this guy, when he gets the coached up, he's going to be great. Or like fire Flus. Like, I don't think you guys realize how awful Flus is as a head coach, how awful he is as a head coach, and just how bad Sean Waldron was as an offensive coordinator. Like,
I think Waldron was worse.
He was worse. Part of the thing, he was worse because when they fired him and they hired Thomas Brown, Caleb Williams looked better, right? He went up, and one of the like jobs of the coordinator is to make the job easier for the quarterback. And he didn't do that for Caleb Williams, knowing your offensive line is ass, man. Like, hey, look, that's what Cliff Kingsbury is doing for Jaden Daniels, knowing he doesn't have a great offensive line. The ball's coming out quick, or he's giving him a run pass option, right? Also, I must add this as well. I think we maybe, and myself included, maybe overestimated the weapons and the receivers that Chicago has. I'm not a fan of. I wasn't a fan of Roma Dunze's route running, and I'm still not because it sucks. His route running
separation sucks. Separation sucks.
Well, I mean, yeah, separation. That's the route running, though, right? He doesn't.
Well, separate. Yeah, it goes hand in hand. Yeah,
he can't separate. DJ Moore is fine, and Keenan Allen's on his last leg. I think we overestimated the weapons they've had in Chicago. So, like, look, I think Caleb Williams is going to be great. I do. I think Jaden Daniels.
I hope he is.
But I think with Josh McCown.
Oh my God, Bo Nix. What about Bo Nix too?
I felt like Bo Nix could only succeed in one place only. That was Denver. He goes anywhere else, he sucks. He went to the right place. He went to the right place in Denver. I said that. Bo, I can tell you, I said that. Bo Nix would only succeed.
Oh, I remember you did. It's just this I feel like this quarterback class is just so like those four guys, man. They're very talented.
They're good.
Brian has been anti-Bo Nix since Auburn.
Since he was a baby.
That man was in college for years, dude.
He was a baby. But to pick the game, I have literally gone against Washington in every single game, and I'm over it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll be real with you. I'll be real. I'll be a man and be real. I'm not gonna lie. I have been waiting. I won't say the downfall of Jaden Daniels. I won't say downfall, but I'll say the wall. He's gonna hit a wall soon. He's gonna hit a wall.
A wall?
Like a rookie wall. Yeah, like a rookie. Something's gonna happen. Like he's gonna hit. Can't anymore.
I think he'll hit a wall. I think he'll hit a wall, but it'll be next season.
Nah,
I
man.
bet the worst time to hit a wall, man, is the title game.
I thought it was gonna be against the Lions in Detroit. I thought that environment was gonna get to him because it was indoors and it was against a team that's so freaking hungry. They're playing with house money. They're not playing for they're not supposed to be here. The Eagles were supposed to be here. So like when you're playing with that much house money, man, like and you got the whole country behind you.
You want to laugh? You want to laugh, Brian? I've taken Washington in every game against the spread so far.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I took Washington getting the points against Tampa Bay. I think it was like 3.5. I took Washington getting the points against Detroit. I'm taking Washington getting 6 against Philadelphia because I can't trust Philadelphia to win the way I believe they should win. This should be a 10-point plus victory.
That's crazy.
And it's not going to be that.
I don't think it will be. I don't trust your offense. I don't think Jalen Hurts is all there. I think he's hurt, man. I think he's just not.
Oh, the Eagles. Oh, Eagles, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jalen. I think Jalen Hurts is ailing right now. I really do. And I think if they're going to put a lot on Saquon, I don't trust the passing game right now. It's really bad. I don't know if they're going to be able to score enough points. I don't know. I'm picking Washington only because I don't really trust the Eagles' offense. Because
what's crazy about this whole thing, guys, is that we're literally a Baker Mayfield non-fumble away from them not winning.
Yeah,
that's in my mind what I think about when it comes to playoffs and stuff like that. It's just that small error of margin is the reason why Washington goes on fire. And I think honestly, Brian, I know that Wall's coming, but I think this is the better matchup because I think the Lions would have been absolutely ass raped against the Eagles. I believe that. I really do.
In Detroit?
Yep.
Oh wow. Well, you know what? Honestly, they lost so many guys. The injuries the Lions had. I mean,
you can't overcome it, Brian. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. I honestly we really need to be on. We really need to be on the watch for 2025 with Dan Campbell. I really think that this window that they had, right? This window of 2 years.
They're closed.
I think it's closing.
I think it's closing too. I said that before.
They have a Jared Goff problem.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm saying it. I'm sorry.
I don't think he's had an injury problem.
No, it's a postseason problem. I think it's a Jared Goff postseason. If you remember his run with LA, he got carried by Todd Gurley in the defense.
But it
wasn't because of him.
He took him to the NFC title game last year. They did lose in San Francisco, which is pretty hard to win.
Agree.
It wasn't his fault that they lost. I think
Dan Campbell's fault.
Dan Campbell's fault. He went. Thank you, Dan Campbell's fault. So I can't blame Golf for that. I got to see Golf do it one more time. I think let's see. He's young. Let's see him do it again. And with different coordinators, who do they bring in? Let's see who they bring in.
They already lost the guy that they were going to promote. He went to New England.
Who's that?
Tim something, defensive line coach.
Oh, the defensive line coach. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the understudy of Aaron Glenn.
So I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised because obviously Josh McDaniel.
He's losing guys.
Josh McDaniel just can't stay away from New England. I'm surprised they didn't try to grab him and come to New England. Oh, I'm coming to Detroit. Josh McDaniels, which I believe is a sneaky good hire for the Patriots. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think the Patriots.
Are you talking about who are you talking about? Who's a sneaky good hire?
Josh McDaniel.
Oh, it's a great hire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's home. I think they go to the playoffs next year.
He's the only offensive coordinator to get Mac Jones to play good football.
Exactly. Yep.
And Cam Newton, if you guys remember that.
I'm a little surprised the Jacksonville Jaguars didn't bring him in.
No.
And I'm surprised, but they let him get into New England. Maybe he just wanted to maybe he's just tired of being a head coach and getting his ass kicked. I don't know.
What happens? That's what happens. You can't cheat.
Some guys are better coordinators.
Like Cliff Kingsbury, which I think Jacksonville is going to get him. I think Jacksonville is going to get Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh, really?
They're going to grab him. They're going to grab him. It's Trevor Lawrence. It's his last leg. It's Trevor Lawrence's last leg, man. It's your third coach, dog. No, for all. Yeah. No, I've been on Trevor Lawrence. I've been on Trevor Lawrence train for a long time.
Yep.
You've been through 3 coaches. dude. Like, honestly, like this is it. Like, this is it for you, man. Like you
Well,
know,
two coaches, right? Two coaches.
two coaches. Sorry, two coaches. His third coach. But yeah, two coaches. Yeah, I mean, we
I
gave
wouldn't
him.
really count. I really would count the first one.
I say we gave him a mulligan for Urban Meyer. Give him a mulligan. He had his best year under Doug Peterson. And then that slowly went away.
You know what's crazy is that you compare the Tuas and the Trevors and the Justins and the Joes, and it's crazy how Tua and Justin don't even have a playoff win, but Lawrence does. Son of a bitch. God,
Lawrence,
I hate that.
Lawrence,
God, I hate it.
Lawrence, and he did play well against the Chiefs the next week too. Lawrence does have a playoff win. That is crazy. That is kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy that Trevor Lawrence is our player. All right, so my Super Bowl looks like it's going to be Kansas City and Washington. Looks like yours, Fogg, is going to be a rematch of Super Bowl, 57, something like that? I don't know, with the Eagles and the Chiefs. And then I believe yours is the same thing. So no one picked the Bills. All right. So the Bills are the weak link. I agree. I think the Bills overachieved. I do. I think they overachieved this year. That's my.
I'm personally rooting for the Bills, though. I'll be rooting for them.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Bills in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind it. It'd be fun.
Either with the Eagles.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
No,
that's funny.
Eagles. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's funny. I think the best matchup the Chiefs do not want to see is Washington. They don't want to see Washington. They don't want to see him because Washington can score.
Really?
They don't want to see Washington. That's the best matchup. They don't want to see Washington. No. They'll take the Eagles.
See, I think the Bills and Commanders would be a classic Super Bowl.
That'd be fun.
I really do. I there's not really a heavy presence. Maybe Washington on the D-line side, but just to see both these quarterbacks, run first type of ordeal. And I think it would be like a 35-33 type of game. Honestly, I think it would be a fun game to watch. No offense, Fogg, to your Eagles, but I'm just saying. Yeah, that's it.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I think Washington is one of those teams where they're hitting on all cylinders right now, and Jane Daniels is so good. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he doesn't turn the ball over, and he makes plays.
Yeah,
right. He doesn't. They don't want to see that. They just don't. That's going to be hard to beat. They don't mind seeing Jane Daniels. They don't mind seeing a guy like Jalen Hurts who doesn't pass well. And if they can just stop Saquon Barkley, and then just man up on those guys outside, because he got the guys to man up. If they can do that, that's fine. But they don't want to see Jane Daniels. They don't want to see him. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that. We want to thank everybody for appreciate you guys coming on. That's gonna do it for us. We appreciate everybody who came on and watched the show. Bobby, David, I think Kevin Oliver was here. Drew, thanks for stopping by, man. Really, really appreciate it from Sports Watch. I'll go check him out. Sports Watch is the show every Sunday. There's game-winning drive as well. It's great stuff for on there as well. Thank you guys very much. And got some good classic games. Any last words, Fogg, before we go?
Thank you, Ohio State. Thank you.
Oh, we didn't even talk about this. We'll get that next time.
Thank you, Ohio State.
You want to bet? You want to bet? You want to bet? We even get to the
shout out to Notre Dame, man. They showed a lot of heart. But last word from you is, I'm really shocked. I know we talked about coaches. I'm really shocked that a particular name hasn't ever been. It's been surfaced, but it hasn't really come through. Steve Spagnuolo. I'm surprised he hasn't really had a shot to.
I heard he got an interview somewhere.
He had an interview, but I think he turned it down, or he didn't go for it, or I think it was virtual. But I'm really shocked that he hasn't really, gone to that level again, because I think his last team that he coached was the Lions. I don't know if I'm right or not wrong on that.
I think it was the Rams. I think that was his
Rams. There you go, Rams.
Yeah, okay. I remember that.
He interviewed with the Jets. Thank you, Bobby. He interviewed the Jets. Thank you. But just a shout out to him, because he's been a mainstay for that defense for I don't know how long now. I think since 2018, I believe. So
I think since Mahomes' second year, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's crazy to see that. But I'm definitely excited for Sunday. I'm definitely excited to see it. And I don't know if I'll be on next week, but just for my Super Bowl prediction, it's going to be the revenge tour for the Eagles. I think the Eagles will beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I got the Eagles winning. They're going to stop the three-peat. And I think the main story from that game is we're going to see a running back win MVP for Super Bowl MVP, and we're going to see Barkley pick up his jersey, and it's going to say "F the Giants." So that's it. That would all because you want to pay him $14 million.
Woo!
Thanks, bud. Appreciate you,
man. Yeah, I was going to just kind of talk about Spags. I think Spags loves where he is because he's in the middle of a history, and he's a Hall of Famer already, so there's no need to go in
Dick
there.
LeBeau.
I mean, literally, he could be in Kansas City forever. Like Dick LeBeau was in Kansas. It was in Pittsburgh until he was like 70.
Jim Johnson, his mentor, Jim Johnson.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it with coaching. My last word is that we got to remember that coaches can choke too, and coaches choke all the time. Coaches, they do it all the time, but unfortunately, they're not out there taking the hits, so they don't choke. Also, you can't see them choking. But Todd Monken and John Harbaugh choked again for the second year in a row. And this time, you can't blame or put all the blame on Lamar Jackson. Last year, you could, because Lamar was just psyched himself out. He wouldn't throw the ball or run. He didn't do anything. But this year, that was coaching. And coaches
are you solely blaming on coaching, or are you saying it's an overall thing
for that game?
For the game, are you like, if you had to do like a percentage?
I was coaching percentage. I would say like 90% coaching, because they didn't have to go for two. That was stupid, right?
Okay.
The turnovers that Lamar had at the beginning of the game were just non-consequential because they were still in it, right? They were still in it.
This is where you and I differ.
This is why we disagree, but they were still in it, right? So like it's why I say that not all turnovers are created equal, right? Like Lamar turns the ball up. First of all, the fumble was a high snap, and he didn't really have control over it, right? So that's one.
Well, he had control. He could have fell down instead of spinning around.
Yeah, but like you say, people always like to say that when they're not out there. When you're not I'm not saying you're not an athlete.
We've been out there before,
right? And like when you're in that game mode, you catch the ball. Your natural instinct is I can make a play, right? It's just
in his case, yes.
It's hard to coach that out of somebody. Is what I'm saying, right? But
1,000%, yeah.
You know,
the 90% you're blaming coaching though.
They didn't have to go for. If they don't go for two, and they're in that position where they score, they just kick the field goal, and
they kick the extra point and they tie the game.
And then
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
It's the play calling of what they call onto. You don't give it to Derrick Henry at all for any of the 2-point conversions.
I agree. I don't like the percentage points. I still favor your side. I would just make it like 70% coaching, because you still got to get blamed to Mark Andrews. You still got to get blamed to Lamar Jackson, because you still put them in that situation where they had to come back. That wasn't coaching for him to throw the pick and have the fumble. I understand what you're saying. It's a high snap and it was uncontrollable in your opinion, but like still, like you still are in the red zone. Like you're still dictating the game how it could be by being 21-10, and now you're in a position where you have to play a perfect ball in the second half in order to come back. That's where my defense was coming from.
Understood. But my I've always felt like as a coach, my goal is to make things easier for my players out there. If I can make it as easy as possible for them out there, I'm going to do that. Right? I'm gonna try to make things as easy.
I agree.
I'm not going to roll out Lamar Jackson. I can just give the ball to Derrick Henry. Right? If we can't get 2 yards with Derrick Henry, we don't deserve to be here. That's
when they did in that drive, when they scored a touchdown, they were averaging 5.5, I think, on that drive.
Yeah,
and then they went to a pass, an extra point where they got batted down.
And they got batted down, and then they
okay, fine, Brian. I'll put it up to 75%.
I will say this. Just to give myself a little bit of accountability, because I say this all the time to my players who I'm coaching, especially the quarterback, right? Especially quarterback. Quarterback should never make a bad play worse. And that's what Lamar Jackson did. He made a bad play, right? And he made it worse. That's what I'll tell him. That's what I tell quarterbacks. No, your job is
It's a fair assessment.
Right. Don't make it. That's what he did. But as far as calling,
he's still great. I'm still saying he's top 3. So
I feel like coaches can choke too, and they choked in that game. They choked. Mark Andrews choked too. Mark Andrews choked big time in that game. But that's gonna do it for us, guys. Appreciate you guys coming. We will definitely be back next week with our Super Bowl predictions. You guys have a great week. Stay warm out there in the East Coast fog. And we'll see you guys next week.
No, thank you.